ask, when did you first kind of land on the language of letting your inner child play? Because I know that like inner child work and shadow work has recently become more popular in like self-development, self-help, and spiritually spheres. But when was that click for you?
That's a good question, and I don't know, but I do know when I was in college, there was, like, The Secret was popular,
Yeah,
and I felt like I needed evidence of the law of attraction. I
totally.
needed a little bit more science involved, and I think I got that from Wayne Dyer, his Power of Intention. He explained that, like, we are all kind of like a light tower,
Yeah.
where we give off or like a radio tower. We give off this energy and we'll get whatever back we give out. And that for me, I've just been aware, and maybe it was brought more to light by being on stage, that I'll look back on and I'll kind of feel unlikable if I don't walk on stage with a smile. And I just have to remind myself, maybe my like base neutral, it doesn't feel welcoming, and present to the world this positivity, and then they lighten up. And that's like, you're a single guy, you walk into a bar, smile. Come on, like have fun, laugh. What are you laughing about? Doesn't matter. Just it's great. We're having fun. Like be like there are ways to sort of fabricate it, fake it till you make it, so that you can kind of get going. My audience, I have my private community, and I'll be like having a bad day, and then when I hit record, I try to just like bring some better energy, because I do not need to pull anybody down,
Yeah.
you know? And and it doesn't mean it's toxic positivity. We all have rough days, but like
Sure.
there is it's not like there's a limited amount of like abundance in our soul. You can just choose to see situations in a better light. And and every day is a challenge, because we can be the worst version of ourselves or the best. And really taking a moment to like harvest that and warm up that internal temperature really can help expand that. So inner child, I think I probably heard that term, and I was probably like, yeah, like that's a good way to physically think of. I can see my childhood photo, and trust me, there are so many moments with having my own son that I think of how much trauma I had not having a dad.
Mm,
Just natural stuff, like,
sure.
my b I can, like, carry him into the shower, and then I can, like, hold him and, like, wash him, and there was one time when he, like, fell asleep. He was so tired, he, like, fell asleep in the shower. I was like, "Honey, look at this." And and then I think, like, "Oh my gosh," like, it might sound crazy, but, like, I never had a dad, so I didn't even know what my body would look like when I got older, versus having a son now who gets to have all of the abundance. And there's a comedian I like, Robert Kelly. He had like a couple and my stepdad's great, but I was like, I was developed. My inner child was kind of already a lonely kid by that point. And Robert Kelly, his therapist, would say, "Hey, look, here's the deal. You don't get to have a father, you get to be a father." And
Mm,
I can apply the lessons I've learned from my stepdad and other men in my life, and I can try to apply that to my son, to be something he can look up to, and also all of the other things that come with it. I think my parents' generation did the best they could. I always say everyone tries the best with the information they have. They had
absolutely.
they had like a pamphlet, and we have the internet. So I'll scroll dad talk, and in 1 minute, I'll get better advice than they ever got in their entire lives.
Yeah.
And you see, like, the best advice is always, like, encouragement and letting them know you see them for
Yeah.
their effort. And, there's a reason why you're not, like, trying to, judge a seven-year-old by whether they scored the goal or not, because you're not gonna score the goals all the time in life. Like, my adult life has been a majority failure, and yet I'm doing okay now.
Yeah.
So all of those lessons, and again, we're he's still a baby, but, like, all of those lessons, I look forward to the moments where I can try to apply them in ways that teaches those values to him, which is gonna be
Yeah.
tough, because, like, I'm gonna want to shower him with money and opportunity, and I'm just gonna have to, that's the codependent, like, all we wanna do is be like, "Oh, you need that? Here you go." And it's like, okay, that you gotta teach them the skills, not just provide them the outcome.
Right. Absolutely. I just in that encapsulation of this, I'm just also so much hearing the way that this gift of being a father is not just being a father to your little one, but it's also practicing what it would have been like to be a father to yourself, right? There's this really beautiful, like, healing that it sounds like
Well, let
happens
me tell you
there.
something. You don't even know your wounds until sometimes they emerge, and
Yeah.
it's almost like expelling, like, a sickness. You're just like, and I'm not talking like, I don't know if I've had an experience where I've, like, had, like, a shudder cry, but I do remember, um, my mother-son dance on my wedding. My mom
Mm,
had that. Just lost it.
yeah,
And she's always, this was so funny, it's always embarrassing, but, every Thanksgiving, she's the one who's gonna cry, and she's always been good at sharing her gratitude for everything, but when I was young, she left my father when she was pregnant with me, so she has tremendous guilt for a lot of those life choices. James
sure.
Tallarico was just on a podcast talking about how his mom left, his abusive father when he was just a baby, and that I see our parents that are there and those that weren't. I see that they all tried their best. I have, like, nothing but love for my biological father who passed away. He was a Vietnam vet. He was rejected by society. He was, sick from Agent Orange, which messes up your brain. He
Yeah,
had all of these issues at an age where I was playing baseball with my friends. So, like,
yeah,
I have so much empathy for that. And part of, when you talk about, like, why talk politics? It's like, because there's nobody in office who would put their kid into a situation that they're letting happen, whether it be the war they're trying to start in Venezuela, or bombing someone, and so it's about, like, it's about knowing what's right and wrong. And with my son, exposing myself to how like, lonely my inner child was, every feeling I have now, even when I'm in tears, it's gratitude.
yeah,
It's like I already had everything I wanted in life, and it's still an expanding, unwrapped layer of new moments of gratitude. With
yeah,
my son, like, he's about to wake up from his nap, and I'm gonna open that door, and it makes this little creaky noise. I could fix that creaky noise, but when that creaky noise, "Dad," yeah, he turns around, he patters over to me, like, we had these little child locks, he broke them from shaking the door down. Like, that's a kid who wants to hang out with me? Like, that's you can't, there's no $236 million painting that can buy that.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That really is just again, it taps back into that underlying humanity, and it's like, isn't that feeling, whatever that looks like for anyone, what we're all wanting? And being able to cultivate that is just so special.